The history of every iPhone model from 2007 to 2022. The first iPhone. Can you believe 16 GB is all you could put on the first iPhone? Granted, there wasn't nearly as much data to put on the iPhone yet, and certainly no App Store. But you had access to the internet on a screen you could actually see it on, unlike the flip and slider phones of the time. And it could only handle 128 megabytes of memory. The camera was 2.0 megapixels, so terrible. But a phone with a camera. Holy moly. As a fun aside, there actually isn't an iPhone 2. From the first iPhone, Apple leapfrogged right over this number to the iPhone 3G and 3GS. iPhone 3G models. iPhone 3G. Release date, July 11, 2008. As far as internal specs go, the iPhone 3G wasn't much different than the original iPhone. But now there was an App Store. This iPhone got its moniker for its 3G connectivity, which meant access to internet you could actually use without wanting to throw the iPhone across the room. iPhone 3GS. Release date, June 19, 2009. Apple introduced the 32 GB storage option with the iPhone 3GS, doubling it from the first iPhone. Clearly, introducing the App Store changed things quickly. Between photos, music, and apps, 16 GB just wasn't going to cut it. The camera got an upgrade to 3MP and added video recording. Apple also added voice control, although we'd have to wait a couple more years before the introduction of Siri. iPhone 4. Release date, June 24, 2010. Now we're getting somewhere. The iPhone 4 was the first iPhone to have a front-facing camera. Little did Apple know, selfies would take over the world. The iPhone 4 also got a Retina display. With 512 megabytes memory, it was equipped to handle a lot more than even the iPhone 3GS, which only had 256 megabytes of memory. You can see the technology was beginning to look a little more familiar, but 32 GB was still the maximum amount of storage the iPhone could hold. iPhone 4S. Release date, October 14, 2011. Talk about a huge difference. Between the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S, the camera went from 5MP to a whopping 8MP. Now, that's an upgrade. Apple also introduced the 64 GB storage option but kept the memory at 512 megabytes. Video could then be recorded in 1080p. Oh, I can't forget Hello, Siri. Apple sold 4 million units of the iPhone 4S in its first week. iPhone 5 models. iPhone 5S and iPhone 5C. Release date, September 21, 2012. Apple sold 5 million units of the iPhone 5 in its first week. The cameras stayed the same but memory was boosted all the way up to 1 GB. You thought 3G was cool? PSH, the iPhone 5 had LTE connectivity. Hello, Internet everywhere. Apple also introduced the Lightning connector with the iPhone 5. And for the first time, the screen got bigger. All previous generations' displays were 3.5 inches, but the iPhone 5 was 4 inches. iPhone 5S and iPhone 5C. Release date, September 20, 2013. Between the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 5C, Apple sold 9 million units in the first week of sales. The iPhone 5C was meant to be slightly more affordable and had a plastic shell. It was available in 4 different colors, but not too much else was different. The iPhone 5S, on the other hand, introduced Touch ID, dual flash, and slow motion video. Plus, it included the M7 Motion coprocessor, which opened a new realm of possibilities and also helped save battery life. iPhone 5S and iPhone 5C. Release date, September 20, 2013. Between the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 5C, Apple sold 9 million units in the first week of sales. The iPhone 5C was meant to be slightly more affordable and had a plastic shell. It was available in 4 different colors, but not too much else was different. The iPhone 5S, on the other hand, introduced Touch ID, dual flash, and slow motion video. Plus, it included the M7 Motion coprocessor, which opened a new realm of possibilities and also helped save battery life. iPhone 6 models release date, September 19, 2014. Apple tends to make larger leaps between the original model and the S edition than it does from the S edition to a new model. The iPhone SIX's internal specs were very similar to those of the iPhone 5S. The biggest difference was having a significantly larger screen and offering an even larger size called 6 Plus. The Retina display became HD, and the option to get an iPhone with 128 GB of storage became available. But the amount of memory was the same, and the camera didn't see a megapixel upgrade. But it didn't matter, Apple sold 10 million units in the first week. iPhone 6s and SIXs Plus. Release date, September 19, 2015. The SIXs changed everything. Well, not everything, it basically looked the same. But inside, Apple upgraded the iPhone 6s quite a lot. The camera made a huge leap forward, going from 8MP to 12MP. The memory was also doubled from 1 GB to 2 GB. After the iPhone 6 had some bending issues, #BendGate, Apple gave the iPhone 6s 7000 series aluminum to make sure that never happened again. Last but not least, 3D Touch was introduced. iPhone SE. iPhone SE. iPhone SE release date, March 31, 2016. Don't think I've forgotten the iPhone SE. It had all the awesome internal specs of the iPhone 6s in a small package and without 3D Touch. But overall, the iPhone SE was introduced as a more affordable option that people really loved. iPhone 7 models. iPhone 7 models: iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Release date, September 16, 2016. Apple finally dropped the 16 GB base model option, with iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus base models starting at 32 GB of storage and going up to 256 GB. Apple also introduced a new shiny jet black color. The iPhone 7 Plus proved to be more popular than previous Plus models due to its new dual camera, which made a significantly improved zoom feature possible, and portrait mode, a software update that let iPhone 7 Plus users take impressive photos using depth of field. Perhaps the most controversial feature of the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus was the one Apple removed, the headphone jack. The new iPhones shipped with earpods that plugged into the Lightning port and an adapter for traditional headphones. Apple introduced its wireless AirPods at the same event it announced it was eliminating the headphone jack. Apple will stop supporting updates for iPhone 7 and 7 Plus once iOS 16 launches in September 2022. iPhone 8 models. iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. iPhone 8 models release date, September 22, 2017. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus introduced us to wireless charging with the glass cover on the back on the iPhone. The camera was awesome, with upgraded tools for editing and filtering our images. The True Tone display improved the viewing experience by automatically reducing blue light exposure. Users eventually, mostly, got used to not having a headphone jack and began adapting to the wireless lifestyle. iPhone X models. iPhone X models. iPhone X. Release date, November 3, 2017. Skipping right over the iPhone 9, the iPhone X was released 10 years after the original iPhone. The iPhone X included an extra front-facing camera that let us take amazing selfies in portrait mode. Sure, other iPhones let us take cool-looking photos, but the iPhone X included portrait mode for the front-facing camera, and we fell in love at first aperture. iPhone XS and XS Max. Release date, September 21, 2018. Apple announced the XS and XS Max at its September 2018 event in the Steve Jobs Theater. These models were well named, as they were definite upgrades along the lines of the iPhone X. Both models had the front-facing camera for portrait mode selfies. The displays were edge-to-edge, and it all looked great with the Super Retina HD display. The biggest upgrade might be the smallest. The A12 Bionic chip increased the processing power while decreasing battery drain. iPhone XR. Release date, October 26, 2018. The iPhone XR was also announced at the September 2018 event, but wasn't available right away. Because it was the cheaper of the new models, quite a few people decided to wait for the XR to be available. These iPhones were smaller than the XS and XS Max, but still bigger than the 7 and 8 Plus. The display was not as crisp as the XS and XS Max, but with the Liquid Retina HD display, the difference wasn't too noticeable. This model also had a front-facing camera and came in way more colors than the XS or XS Max. iPhone 11. Models. iPhone 11. Release date, September 20, 2019. Newest iPhone. The iPhone 11 was the least expensive of Apple's annual line at the time, but still had enough new features to be in the running for 2019's most popular iPhone. The device features a 6.1-inch Liquid Retina display, and comes in 6 crisp colors. The most exciting addition may have been the second camera on the back of the 11, both 12MP, and offering wide and ultra-wide lenses. iPhone 11 Pro. iPhone 11 Pro release date, September 20, 2019. iPhone 11 Pro. For Apple customers looking for a smaller phone with a top-of-the-line display, the iPhone 11 Pro was perfect. The 5.8-inch Super Retina XDR display was Apple's most crisp and clear to date. This phone featured not 2, but 3, 12MP HDR camera lenses, offering wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lenses. The color options were more muted than the iPhone 11, but there was always the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Release date, September 20, 2019. iPhone 11 Pro Max. Apple's largest and most expensive phone of 2019 was the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The display was Apple's Super Retina XDR, as with the 11 Pro, but sized at 6.5 inches. The Pro Max featured the same, 3-lens camera setup as the 11 Pro, as well as the same color choices, making size nearly the only difference between the devices. iPhone SE, 2nd Gen. iPhone SE, 2nd Gen. iPhone SE, 2nd Generation. Release date, April 24, 2020. iPhone SE 2nd Generation. The 2020 iPhone SE is the second of its kind, and was loved by those who prefer smaller iPhones. Apple took a few cues from the past with this throwback iPhone. The 4.7-inch Retina HD display and home button with Touch ID harken back to the original iPhone SE, and with a similarly low price. The 2nd generation SE offered many of the features of Apple's most expensive iPhones, including an A13 Bionic chip, advanced camera system with portrait mode and depth control, high-definition video, wireless charging capability, and long battery life. iPhone 12 models. Release date, November 13, 2020. iPhone 12 mini. iPhone 12 mini. The iPhone 12 mini was a surprisingly small but still very powerful addition to the iPhone family. This thin and incredibly light smartphone measured just 5.4 inches and included the new, powerful A14 Bionic chip for a considerable boost in performance over previous models. It also featured Apple's latest Super Retina XDR OLED display and a host of camera upgrades, but still came with a dual lens arrangement. The only notable differences between the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12 were that the mini was smaller and had an estimated battery life that's 2 hours shorter than that of the larger iPhone 12. Release date, October 23, 2020. iPhone 12. The 6.1-inch iPhone 12 had exactly the same features, camera specs, and processing capabilities as the 12 mini, except that it was estimated to have a 17-hour video playback compared to the iPhone 12 mini's 15 hours. This mid-range model also included the dual-lens camera, which was good enough for everyday users. However, Apple did include some impressive upgrades to their higher-end iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max phones for those who chose their iPhones for their camera capabilities. Release date, October 23, 2020. iPhone 12 Pro. The iPhone 12 Pro boasted some very fancy camera and color upgrades as compared to the 12 and the 12 mini, but came in the same 6.1-inch screen size as the iPhone 12 and included all of the baseline features present in the budget models. New camera features introduced in 2020 include a triple lens arrangement like we saw with the iPhone 11 Pro models, but with LiDAR scanning, improved night mode, and enhanced zoom range and lens functions. Both iPhone 12 Pro models included the fastest aperture ever used in an iPhone. Apple added RAW photos for superior Pro editing capability and included Dolby Vision up to 60 frames per second in the Pro models. iPhone 12 Pro Max release date, November 13, 2020. iPhone 12 Pro Max. The iPhone 12 Pro Max featured all of the benefits of the 12 Pro, but with some upgrades and a considerable size difference. The 6.7-inch Pro Max claimed an 87% improvement on the way it functions in low light over the iPhone 11 models and features 5x zoom, which was a big deal for those who use their iPhones for professional or near-professional photography projects. The most distinguishing characteristic of this iPhone was its screen. iPhone 13 models. Release date, September 24, 2021. iPhone 13. The iPhone 13 line's base model maintains many of the design features, introduced in the iPhone 12 series, but it also comes with a 20% smaller notch, accommodated by a new camera layout. It runs on the A15 chip, which is an upgrade over the previous generation of iPhones, and the camera features some significant improvements, including cinematic mode and photographic styles. Battery life is also improved for this model, and it comes in the following colors: pink, blue, midnight, starlight, and product red. A big selling point for the iPhone 13 is the price point. It starts at the same price as the iPhone 12 did when released, but its base model offers double the storage space. The screen size remains the same at 6.1 inches. iPhone 13 mini release date, September 24, 2021. iPhone 13 mini. Like its bigger siblings, the iPhone 13 mini runs on Apple's A15 Bionic chip, making it a powerhouse in a small package. Its battery life has improved up to an hour and a half a day over the iPhone 12 mini. As with other iPhone 13 models, the mini features big camera improvements, and the most storage available of any mini model at a maximum storage capacity of 512 GB. Its design and physical size also largely mirror the iPhone 12 mini, clocking in with a screen size of 5.4 inches. It features the same color options as the iPhone 13 and a starting price of $699 for 128 GB. iPhone 13 Pro. Release date, September 24, 2021. iPhone 13 Pro. The iPhone 13 Pro features a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display with promotion, but its big draw is the inclusion of a telephoto camera, in addition to the wide and ultra-wide cameras that come with the iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 mini. It comes with a LiDAR scanner for night mode photography and offers a 1TB model for more storage than any iPhone has ever offered before. It needs it, considering all the new camera features make for pretty bulky file sizes. It is also powered by the A15 chip and comes in silver, graphite, gold, and Sierra blue. iPhone 13 Pro Max. Release date, September 24, 2021. iPhone 13 Pro Max. The iPhone 13 Pro Max offers everything the Pro does, but bigger. Its screen is the same size as the iPhone 12 Pro Max, 6.7 inches diagonally. It, like the rest of the iPhone 13 line, is a bit heavier and thicker than its predecessor, despite sharing the same dimensions otherwise. In addition to getting a chip upgrade to the A15, the iPhone 13 Pro Max also gets an additional GPU, for a total of 5. It, too, offers a 1TB storage capacity option, and Apple says the battery is able to support up to 28 hours of non-stop video playback. With the heftiest price tag of any iPhone, the iPhone Pro Max is the ultimate top-of-the-line model available. iPhone SE, 3rd Gen. iPhone SE. Release date, March 8, 2022. iPhone SE 3 2022. 3rd generation, the 2022 iPhone SE 3 is the third of its kind, and maintains the 4.7-inch Retina HD display and home button with Touch ID, harken back to the original iPhone SE, and with a similarly low price. The 3rd generation SE offers many of the features of Apple's most expensive iPhones, including 5G, an A15 Bionic chip, advanced camera system with portrait mode, depth control, high-definition video, deep fusion, wireless charging capability, and long battery life. iPhone 14 models. iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. Release date, 14, September 16, 14 Plus October 7, 2022. iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus 2022. Instead of the iPhone mini, Apple brought the Plus back for iPhone 14, with the slightly larger display that had been restricted to the exclusive Pro and Pro Max models in recent years. The iPhone 14 models came with some impressive safety-focused features, including crash detection, which automatically detects a car wreck and contacts emergency services in the event of a crash, and emergency SOS via satellite, a feature with the capability to connect to emergency services via satellite if you find yourself in distress while out of range of Wi-Fi or cellular. The emergency SOS via satellite is a first in the smartphone arena, since connecting to a satellite was previously only possible through bulky, expensive devices built specifically for this purpose. The iPhone 14 and 14 Plus also offers a new dual camera system, designed to take low-light photography to the next level. Goodbye, grainy nighttime photos. iPhone 14 Pro. Release date, September 16, 2022. iPhone 14 Pro 2022. Similar to the iPhone 14 base model, the 6.1 iPhone 14 Pro debuted with the same crash detection and emergency SOS via satellite safety features. In addition to the new A16 Bionic chip, it also got a surprising upgrade, with a new dynamic island feature where the notch used to be. While the notch isn't gone, it now adapts to whatever you are doing to more seamlessly display notifications and background activities. It also featured an always-on display, made possible by low-energy components, so that the time and widgets on your lock screen are always viewable. In perhaps the most impressive update, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max offer a 48MP camera, a sharp jump from the 12MP camera offered by the previous model. This translates to a more flexible camera, with more options for framing and cropping, as well as better low-light shots so you can worry less about the lighting and more about capturing the moment. iPhone 14 Pro Max. Release date, September 16, 2022. iPhone 14 Pro 2022. Its screen is the same size as the previous Pro Max generation, 6.7 inches diagonally. As expected, the iPhone 14 Pro Max has the same upgrades the other iPhone 14 models had, including the always-on display, dynamic island, A16 chip, emergency SOS via satellite, crash detection, and the impressive 48MP camera. It also offered a staggering 29-hour video playback battery life and the brightest and clearest display of any iPhone ever. With the new 48MP camera, you won't want to stop taking photos, as this camera helps you to capture more colors, textures, and detail than ever before.